more risk on the line here. Lower bracket deciders ahead of us. Got VortiX versus Anotand. Winner of this would advance to playoffs. Loser will be on the last leg, facing potential elimination next weekend in the knockout bracket. It's a weird format with that. You did hear me correctly. It's technically a triple elimination.
Tri-elimination.
Yeah, but only for those that like don't try hard enough, right? Because if you're good, too good, in fact, like Louis and Marine Lord, you technically don't get a second chance.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, right? Like, at the same time, it makes sense because if you allow for that, you're gonna have the same sets happen twice, potentially, which obviously, like, doesn't really feel good at all. Like, imagine you win the final and then there's like a grand final where it's just the same repeater set again. It's kind of awkward. I'm not sure like what the most fair ruling on that in theory would be. It's kind of wacky. Anyways, we got a set coming up. VortiX versus Anotand. It's only a couple seconds away from us. First game going to be Relic River, and we've already seen Relic River earlier come in. And this time it's going to be JD versus Byzantines. Both civilizations that you don't really see neither in tournaments nor on the ladder on this map.
No. I'm intrigued to see actually how they want to try to approach Relic River. I mean, that neutral trade post isn't too far away, and Anotand is one of the very few players in pro play that might do it, but let's have a look in. Let's have a ganders and see what is in store here, because we are hopping in to the lower bracket decider. Winner of this series makes it to the playoffs. We're kicking off with Anotand as the Byzantines in the yellow. VortiX takes to Relic River as Jeanne d'Arc in the blue.
We get a Dark Age barracks opening here from both sides, so very, very interesting one. I'm not sure if this is practiced or if this is just something that, happens automatically in this particular matchup. It's a matchup that we don't really see. Like, it's weird. It is genuinely weird to me, but I'm excited to see just how exactly this one's going to play out. I like how Anotand is adapting this build order to the Byzantines, only having a single villager on wood, just courtesy of Limitani only costing 10 wood.
Yeah, I guess like for Anotand, it doesn't feel terrible to have to build Limitani here. Like, sure, very expensive commitment in Dark Age, but you're up against a civ that has French cav, right? It's like at the end of the day, you were eventually gonna need Limitani one way or the other. No need to kill the deer anymore, guys. Like, they just exist.
They're just vibing.
Yeah, there's no way Anotand would just walk and deer shove, right?
Yeah, we do have a walk at the moment here from VortiX with JD. And look at that, Anotand. Oh, the God. Poor guy. He's getting wolfed.
Oh, no.
By the infantry.
The double up? Oh, God. And now with Jeanne coming, like, this is also awkward, right? Like, Jeanne is so hard to kill early on. 150 HP on this villager unit. And she heals when you stop attacking her. So, like, in a matchup where you've only got, like, Dark Age spears and you're mirroring, you can imagine why Jeanne would be super effective, but VortiX apparently doesn't want to risk it for the biscuit. He backs up entirely.
Yeah, does see the Limitani play at the moment from Anotand coming out, and decides to not really press this much further. So JD now instead just going to start chopping that gold. And yeah, I mean, this is just going to be now a feudal age follow-up from this position. I guess this made sense in the regard of, okay, Byzantine's biggest weakness is the Dark Age, of course, so pressuring them there. And Anotand was like, okay, I'm guessing he's going to attack me in Dark Age, so I'll just make Dark Age units as well. The map is just the odd choice for this one, right? Like, the map is the one outlier where it's like, okay, this makes sense anywhere else, but on this map, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, because, like, also, when you think about this map, you're usually thinking of civ that can actually utilize the fish, potentially, right? Or a civ that can punish the fishing. And, like, Byzantines isn't really either of those things, I'd say. And I wonder also, do you think this opening that he done with the racks, was it a reaction to his spawn, is what I'm now thinking, right? Because, like, when you look at it, it's double for gold and stone. Maybe he didn't want to do this, but when he saw that he got the stone on the front side, the system rush just wasn't even remotely on the table.
I would agree if the gold was right next to the berries, but that's not the case here in this one. So I'm not sure if... I think this was just not even a reaction to the spawn. I think this was just something that he was going to go for either way.
Okay. Well, after they both stared at each other's spears in awe, they've now gone back to the locker rooms. It's just... Oh, well, I guess, like, in some ways, yeah, doesn't this favor Anotand? Because I mean, you're playing Jean and you built spears against the Civ that can get longbows.
Yeah. I mean,
Longbows
do you
that
want to
Jean
get
hates.
longbows up against John, though? I think this is most likely just a javelin thrower type beat.
That's true,
Matchup.
especially with the camel rider follow-up. Like, I've seen sometimes players like longbows if they're not going to come out, right? Because, like, longbows feel better if you're stuck in your base. I guess there's too much risk to being stuck in the base, especially considering that VortiX got the boar spawn quite close to his base.
Yeah. Boar spawn quite close, has the deer there as well. Very nice spot for a little forward base, so to say. Lots of resource there to be had, and Byzantines typically not too keen when it comes on moving out of their base, past the berries at the very least. Like, anything past the berries, that's not something where they want to be. And look at that, big pull here from Anotand onto the stone. Wants to very quickly expand his sister network now.
They always do. And they just, they always seem to get away with it these days, right? Like, I think some people believe that that system change was going to kind of just kill their scalability, right? But I think something that we just noticed is that Byzantines, if anything, the changes overall, we talked about the systems earlier today, but even the olive grove detail seems easier than it's been in the past now for Biz.
Yeah, just courtesy of just getting so much wood in with the like maximum cisterns. Like, it's not a big deal. Sure, your farms are a little bit more expensive than they used to be, but you're just getting that cistern, like max level cistern, in so quickly. All your other resources just start flourishing. And there we go. Outpost now coming up at front side. Does have enough spearmen here to deter VortiX from really doing anything at this point in time. JD already moving forward. Don't have her switched over to her next role. There we go. It's going to be melee JD. Makes a lot of sense up against the Byzantines. You know that javelin throwers are an option here for your opponent. So going for range JD kind of just invites a lot of early deaths for her.
Yeah. I've seen some players somehow make it work, but I feel like whenever you're up against Biz or Marlins, if you pick range JD, your win probability goes down by at least 25%.
Yeah, I mean, it's the exception, right? Not the rule.
Nice cleave.
Oh, our villager kill.
He realizes,
Maybe not,
he's like,
maybe
wait,
yes.
where's this guy pathing? He
Gets
gets
two villager kills.
And
Crazy.
he denies the outpost.
That is so much value gained there right now. And the Limitani, they can't really do anything here. Maybe
another
Akratoy
cleave?
pull.
There's probably another cleave, right?
It's probably not off cooldown yet. Outpost
still
should
gonna
get
get more
finished.
archer
Another
kills.
bill.
This is disgusting.
That is massive value. Another Limitani kill as well.
Are you kidding me with that dive? And like basically most of the damage just gets absorbed by Jean or the spearman. And you don't care about the spearman, right? You don't need them anymore.
Wait.
They've done their role.
For a second now, I think there might have still been just a little bit of idle time on the TC from VortiX, because for a long time Anotand was only behind one villager there. Should have been...
Okay.
I think maybe Anotand has some idle time. No, there we go.
No,
Yeah,
no. There's definitely idle time for VortiX. You're right.
Only a little bit. Only a slight little bit, though. Like 3-4 seconds-ish.
So
that's fine.
Here's an interesting thought, though, right? Is like, we talk about these idle times, and they definitely do matter. But I think something that doesn't get talked about enough is the fact that, like, we know it, and VortiX will realize it, but there's one person in this equation who doesn't realize there's been idle time on his TC. On his opponent's TC. It's Anotand, right? So, like, he has to play the game now like a guy who lost 3 villages and is just, 2 villages behind because Jean converts. So it maybe changes the way he'd approach this compared to if he knew the truth.
Yeah, definitely the case. At least there aren't like any range units at the moment, so this repair will not get disturbed, at least for the time being. We do actually have the first archer just in time hitting now. So the wall of there is going to get stopped. First couple of javelin throwers on our way, though. So we'll definitely be able to block this early aggression out. And VortiX behind this is just going to follow up with the typical pro scout play.
Yeah, pretty cozy with his position. Anotand also only really has one reliable berry stack. Like, this is, I think, the thing that makes Byzantines maybe a little bit weird is, like, you don't often get a spawn where you get double safe berries, right? It feels quite rare from what I've been seeing. In general, the way this map is designed, most of your resource follow-up is pushed north side. And what was that?
They just went for a little hug.
Oh, yeah, like, they're like, hey, brother! And they didn't realize that, like, the guy has just been cutting meat in the kitchen, I guess. So both knights almost dead. Javelins are already answering the archers. And no idle time really forced on the berries. Anatand's going to get a really good timing here into the second javelin.
I mean, looking at the villager count, right? Like, it's not that big of a deal here for him. Now, as you mentioned, he doesn't know about this, so he is probably still going to play with the mindset of a player that just is behind at the moment. But he is on system level 3, has stopped gathering stone, so it's not like we're going to get any more system levels anytime soon. Is this now just going to be a strict transition into Castle Age from here on out, I wonder? Maybe he feels like he just took a good trade and wants to start pushing outward. Kind of feels a little bit dangerous, though. But yeah, he is actually moving up.
And timing could be perfect here, because I think VortiX is getting ready to take the boar. And this is something that Anotand would be able to see through the fog.
He's thinking about it, and the boar does still provide JD with at least a little bit of experience. But the boar could also be a counterplay here against this aggression from Anotand, just being able to pull it back. And look at that, Scout actually sees the knight movement at the top side. So it means that now he knows, okay, the knights are gone. I can maybe do some pressure here, and indeed pressure it is. Knights now have to turn around.
Now VortiX just dodging the problem. Meanwhile, Anotand, has he moved out for the second berries? I think he has. There's a building out towards the boar berry location. So I
Moving
guess
towards it now.
maybe an outpost first would make sense for Anotand, because like it is very far out there. But like you said, the scout on the north side saved his bacon. So yeah, it is going to be an outpost to begin with. And a lot of value here, right? Like, you know, this, I know it's quite rare for Byzantines, but it actually might be worth getting the boar, considering how much he's leaning Limitane.
Yeah, and he's got so many units here at the front side as well that it's very easy for him to take that boar. There we go. Yeah, it's just going to start hitting it with Limitane, get it into position. And now it's just able to take it down.
And that's also going to be 25 XP to 9 away from John, which pretty important considering VortiX's surge start, shall we call it? Like, he actually got a lot of XP quite early on. So far, since that moment, it's been the tedious, slow, nothing is happening XP bar.
Yeah, I mean, the Pro Scout play is coming in behind this, so VortiX is setting himself up for the next 10 minutes with that. We do have Knights trying to look for some raids now. Anotand did rewall his sides, though. Some more emplacements on the outpost coming in as well, so we'll always just be wary and have that information of where VortiX will want to hit from. It's kind of difficult for him to, like, move most of his army. There we go, Split Up is coming in. Wants to have just a couple of Limitani out there just to be able to deny some of those scouts going for the Pro Scout play at the top side. Currently on 8 Javelin Throwers up against 14 Archers. Army count-wise, it's quite fine, I want to say, for both players here. I don't think VortiX actually has enough to push this in, though.
No, it seems like he's flirting the idea of aging up, actually, with the current macro. Knights are going to just go for the blunt charge. They try to get the maximum cleave, but good reaction by Anotand to minimize the damage taken initially. He has got that outpost assisting. A pretty big deal. Jean shouldn't be able to hang around here long. Javelins are going to snipe out the backline archers. Limitan Knight will protect them. So VortiX learns the hard way that buildings are actually pretty good.
And looking at the destruction value, it's still a pretty even value at the moment. But yeah, I mean, VortiX is very much not happy with trading out this many archers at this point in time. And has to be careful, doesn't want to go too far out. VortiX, I mean, he can just cancel these 3 knights that he has in queue and immediately go for an age up now.
Not the worst comp to keep scaling in the meantime, though, right? Like, especially if he wants to keep maybe Royal Institute on the table. I feel like I'd be a bit surprised with the current formatting if he does that. I feel like Royal Institute has actually fallen off heavily. Like, maybe makes up 10% of the games we see now.
Guildhall just always has that opening where you do have the ability to go for the very sudden age up into Imperial Age, and there's just nothing quite as frustrating as maybe like getting ready for an all-in on your opponent or just trying to go for some raids, and your opponent being French or JD, and suddenly hitting Imperial Age, and you're like, okay, suddenly there's Red Palace emplacements everywhere, and I'm not going to be able to raid.
Yep, and it's like, oh, well, I mean, at least, like, you know, he's going to be gold starved in his base because he rushed Imperial. Oh, he's secured the 8k gold with a literal medieval machine gun. So there it is. Guildhall going to be coming in. And John not too far for a level up. We also have to remember at this stage she does get access to the ability to start capturing sacred sites. An often overlooked detail with most pro-level players, actually.
Yeah, it's a lot of experience there as well that you get 50 per captured sacred site, so potentially 150 experience, and that's the difference right now between her being level 2 and level 3.
I think the tricky part is, like, quite often they feel if they aren't with the army, they're missing out on the opportunity to make even more XP, but I mean, that's the baited logic of going, oh man, I made like 10% on my investment portfolio, but if I just invested in this company, I would have saw 10,000% returns in just 3 years. It's like, yeah, I mean, you might have.
I mean,
like, I
you gotta
could
be
have
an
been
insider
astronaut.
for that, typically. Yeah.
Or lucky. So, veterancy is coming through, so VortiX will have a slight advantage on timing, but nothing too big here. We have to remember Byzantines, of course, do have the Dialecticus, so they're able to just rapidly research into their veterancies.
Golden Horn Tower now just about finished, and that's gonna put Anotand quite far ahead on the economy. But yeah, veterancy very quickly in now on those knights as well. There we go. Veterancy is starting to get queued up now on both the Limitani and the Javelin Thrower. Javelin Thrower can still try and do some damage here, but they gotta be so careful. There we go. The knights, they're just immediately rushing in, trying to get that connection in.
This Gambler
Tani now shielding in.
John is insanely low right now. He's gonna have to Divine Restoration. She's
The
still
outpost.
Oh my god. You could
It was
see
on cooldown.
Anasam played him like a fiddle there. He just backed up all the way. VortiX was desperate. If he could get like 5-6 javelin kills, locks in level 3, very different follow-up fight there because the outpost can't really kill her anymore. Just a sick read.
And JD has one of, if not the best answers to this army composition right now, with the Jean's Champion doing bonus damage to the Limitani as a frontline and being armored. Just a perfect counter out to the Javelin throws.
Yeah, just great denial of that opening. And VortiX, he's scaling men at arms. I'm like, you mentioned the champions. I wonder if that actually would have been a viable strategy to pivot into because of this comp. Things are going to change though, so maybe it's off the table for good because we have got Cataphracts being queued up by Anotand.
Cataphracts are like one of these units at the moment that we see that if you're just able to keep it alive, it just provides so much value in these fights. And even on low HP, you're able to just send it out for raids, able to two-shot villagers just with normal hits. It's kind of crazy. And now just, you see this flood, right? Like you blink for a second, there's already 2 monks out on the field. Yep. 15 seconds for a religious unit out of your Grand Winery, just courtesy of that production speed increase with the cistern. It is legitimately kind of disgusting at times seeing it. VortiX, though, I think he can take a couple of fights here, just a couple of trading out with the units and get level 3 in. As soon as you do that, you do unlock the ability to make John's champions. And yeah, as you mentioned, he's making men-at-arms, so it kind of feels like he is trying to go for that army composition. Just needs to find the engagement sooner rather than later because the Cataphracts kind of throw a wrench in that plan.
Still scales knights as well. And the other thing to keep in mind here is like Anotand, Cata plus camels becomes quite viable as these relics come home, right? Like this is always the key thing we're looking for with Byzantines. Mercenary scaling is very finite until you get those 3 relics garrisoned, right? It's the saving grace short of having to spam 30 plus olive groves.
Yeah. We do see him just now also just posturing in the middle, right where that relic is. VortiX not too keen yet on taking that fight, is waiting for his next blacksmith upgrade as well, because once you get +2 pierce damage in, you're going to suddenly be able to take a lot better trades up against the javelin throwers. And one Cataphract able to kill a villager, cause some idle time, cause the army to have to move back. Jean now with level 3, should be seeing it. There we go, comes in.
And the Cataphract's dragging a lot of the army as well, by the way. Okay, he realized, yeah, VortiX, half of the knights were pursuing that target. Backstab now coming in from Jean, plus the archers. Anotand may find himself completely out of position here.
He is.
Jean, she's in.
And there we go, Jean just running onto it. Jean's champion also out in force.
And the knights are committing now. Look at the effort to kill 1 man at arms there. Anotand wasted so much of his army's time. Pushed back, VortiX defense.
And suddenly, Vanity, yeah, he just got a little bit too greedy there. Limitani trying to buy time for the archers, but that is going to be the brunt force of them just getting picked off now. But most importantly, the javelin throw is just getting picked apart. Anotand, he's losing his backline.
I mean, he's losing everything here, right? Like, think about the ramifications behind this. Anotand's food income. We talked about this blob and how impressive it was. Now you think about a reblob, he has the production speed, but does he have the means? He's got 650 food income a minute. He's playing wider than ever on the map with the berry expansion on the north side, and I guarantee that olive grove count is not higher than 10. VortiX has the timing
and
here.
The follow-up.
21 knights can just dive in with full prejudice.
And the follow-up as well is like, even if Anotand now starts to blow up out a lot of Limitani, the follow-up is Men-at-Arms. There are 10 Men-at-Arms in the army from VortiX, 3 Jean's champions as well, and the army just gets trapped between the buildings. So many experience bars coming up here, plus 12, plus 12, plus 12, plus 9. And it's just the entire army for Anotand gone, and GG comes in.
What a timing. VortiX with the patience of a saint to do him dirty like the devil.
And this army count, VortiX just waiting. Just waiting. And the second Anotand got a little bit too greedy, moved a little bit too far outside of his base, spread his army too thin. He springs the trap, just completes around there with the military. And yeah, I mean, looking at it, right, like, it looked like Anotand finally, like, got the scaling point in where he was really, really comfortable with. 3 relics pretty much secured for him. VortiX just taking that one big fight. It's all about that one big fight. And with JD leveling up, it just all snowballed in Anotand's face. And next up, we're going to have to be looking at Sunkenlands. Ruse once again, this time up against the Ayu bits from Anotand.
Interesting. Ayu... isn't this one of the civs that you want to say they're good against, but, like, there is an issue of the early plays do nothing, right? Like because of the lack of need to go gold. Like, I'm thinking, you know, the classic one is Dervish, Desert Raider, ha 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 ha. But it feels like you don't have as many obvious options. Like, you have to kind of predict the pro scouts play correctly.
Yeah, that's one of the things here as well. I think you can definitely, like, still go for, like, Dervish opening. Just get, like, 1 to 2 Desert Raiders out. Just be annoying on the pro scout play, right? Harass here and there. Your opponent's still gonna reach Castle Age. There is no denying Ruse their Castle Age. It just does not work. But the thing is, you can, in theory, follow up with an advancement wing on your side. Get maybe a really, really fast Castle Age up follow-up as well. And you'll already have 2 Dervishes out. You're going to, at the very least, be able to deny relics. And with the 2 Desert Raiders, maybe get like 3, 4 relics in on your side. That's going to tremendously help your scaling up against the Ruse. The issue is the follow-up, so you don't have as much of an economy lead up against the Ruse, so you're going to have to make up otherwise. So in that situation, it's like you're going to need the better army, which you do have access to with the Desert Raiders. Up against Cavalry Archers, you should trade out a lot better. And on top of that, there are a lot of berries in the corner, so if you can, like, get outposts up there, because you're going to need that up against Cavalry Archers, reinforce those with outposts, you should have really good food income as well. It's all a matter of just being able to deny your opponent, well, not deny, we talked about delay pro scout on your opponent's side, get the relics in, maybe find your own scaling point down the road with, like, a second TC. It is a difficult one, though. Just, like, up against Ruse, there are no good matchups. At most, it starts becoming even.
And we already saw how Ruse could be very dominant when they faced off against the Malians here, a little bit early between Marine Lord and Poppy Paw. Let's see if this is the type of pick that can put VortiX on the verge of freeing through here. Anotand, he trusts in the power of the Iobids in the yellow as we head into Sunkenlands, and the reaction pick is going to be VortiX with the always ever dominant Ruse for competitive AoE 4. When was the last time this Civ sucked?
I think there was a point in time where nobody picked it. Not because it sucked, but because it
was banned all the time.
Yeah, it was banned all the time. Players just were like, yeah, let's not pick Ruse. But like even in like tournament play for a while, it just didn't get picked a whole lot. And players were like, nah, Ruse is always good. It's just other civs were better at that point in time.
Here's an interesting one. I mean, at first as well, this is the type of civ that you thought would have been on the way out. A lot of people kind of predicted that with the Wool Nurse, you remember, back in Season 9. But that was exactly when everyone discovered that Pro Scouts is pretty good. And all of a sudden, Ruse, at a point where it felt like it was meant to be a patch to nerf them, felt like one of the most buffed and has continued to remain that way ever since.
Yeah. Just having access to so many resources safely underneath your TC. And I mean, it's the same with High Trade House, right? Like, it just further adds on to that strength. And just means that Rus, they don't have to make any bumps for the first half hour of a game. And typically, at that point, the opponent needs to go for that investment, at which stage Rus kind of just starts outblobbing them. It's going to be interesting, this one, because in theory, Ayubids, they do have some very meaningful counters in their arsenal to counter out the heavy cavalry style that we typically see out of the Rus. VortiX, I know he likes to just still blob cav archers, even in a situation where maybe he wouldn't be as incentivized to go into them. Maybe just like mass cav archers on top of spearmen. That's typically what I see from VortiX with the Rus. So I wouldn't be too surprised, because like the spearmen can still work reasonably well up against the Desert Raiders.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think most of the time we're seeing this matchup at the moment becomes Desert Raider versus Horse Archer. And Desert Raiders can win that, right? I think it is a micro-oriented battle. Where it gets really tough for Rus is once they start having to deal with Camel Lancers. Because like you mentioned, like Spearmen, there is an issue with Camel Lancers, isn't there? They apparently didn't get the memo on what spears are meant to do to heavy cav.
Yeah, they run through the spear, they get impaled, and they're like, that didn't touch me. Rev, you didn't see that. It's like, you don't get stunned during the praise.
It's almost like maybe we're just underrating the Camel Lancer skills as they're like pounding into the enemy, charging at them. They just like eke their lance out and tap the spear apart, to the side, and then just go in.
You know what it is, KP? It's the bump. It's the bumps on the back, and the spear just goes right through, and it's like, I swear I would have hit that if that was a horse, but it's not.
Oh no, I stabbed him in his water sack. He's leaking, but he's still killing me. God, I just want a cartoon now. Like, we need, I think what AOE4 is missing. We're missing one of those type of content creators that makes, like, the little cartoon type stuff. Like, how, like, StarCraft has that, Heroes of Storm had it, Dota 2 had it. We just, like, I need one skit for that, where the spearmen are there.
Carbot.
Yeah, Carbot. We just need those type of people. Wrong Chiefs another one. Where you just need a spear getting ready to brace, and then all of a sudden it's just stuck to the front of the Camel Lancer as it rides through. Like, what am I? What did I even do?
Yeah, to be fair, Carbot just applies the entire Blizzard universe, right?
Yep. Rongchi was another good one for that, actually. He started in Dota 2 with Dota Reporter, and then he eventually done things with, like, Hearthstone. Yeah, there's some talented people. It's just, unfortunately, I remember them saying, like, the amount of work you put in versus what the return was made it quite hard to live by.
In general, that's what it is, like, right, with, like, short duration videos on YouTube and, like, platforms in general. It's just not paying off that much, but we do have the logistics play coming in here for Anotand, so we do start off with the two dervishes here.
No, dear shove.
Camel on knees. Yeah. Camel on knees. Like,
okay, are you
look at
suggesting
that. Camel on...
he's Scout Wars?
What if... I've not seen this before, so maybe I'm talking out of my ass, but, like, imagine if there's, like, a... Camel on ease is enough to make it so that scouts, even with pro scouts research, need 2 shots again to kill a deer.
Whoa.
That would be funny.
Whoa. Crackety. First of all, we're always talking out of our asses. But also, there's going to be a camel on ease attached with a Desert Raider is the more important part. The lads are on the way. And I feel like with Rus, the normal reaction they have here is archers, right? Like, most of the time, that's what we see. And I think that's right. Like, I don't think... Horseman's hard to make work here, if I'm not mistaken, because of the dervish healing.
Yeah. It's quite hard to make work, because they don't do any bonus damage to the dervishes, and the dervishes are quite fast. They heal themselves. And in the meantime, while you're busy focusing on the dervishes, the Desert Raiders kill your unit. So best to just get enough horsemen in to where you can very quickly take down the Desert Raiders and ignore the dervishes in the meantime. And Pro Scout does commence now.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, with the Deershove meta changes, this is one of the matchups where this Ibid build actually got buffed, I want to say. Right? Because...
Look at that! He needs 2 shots!
Oh my god.
He needs 2... Like, the scout needs 2 shots due to the... Oh my god, that made my day. That's
unfortunately, they've already been killed, my lord. Does get a kill on the scout, though. Nicely played there. So yeah, we'll be able to deny some equity. VortiX is going to come back for the goodies where he can. So the point of like why this is actually like one of the matchups where they kind of got buffed is that the Dervish Deershove wasn't... I feel like it wasn't very good against Rus. Because by the time the Dervishes came out, all the deer had been killed, right? It's like, this is one of those matchups where the changes to deer shoving doesn't really change the IBID plan. Because I feel like usually in this matchup, if you had deer to shove in the last season, it's because your opponent forgot to kill them.
Yeah. Anotand has to be very, very careful here. Doesn't want to get too close to a TC. No ranged armor on that Deserator means that if he gets just a little bit too close, might just get one shot by a TC. We do see some spearmen coming in now, but the Deserators
turns out
just gonna get healed up again and with their ranged attack.
Yeah, it turns out feudal healing's pretty good. Who would have thunk it?
Crazy, right?
I'm trying to
Not
remember.
just feudal healing, but like mobile cambulance healing,
doesn't-
where the camels just heal while they're walking.
But like,
as well.
also, doesn't this? I'm trying to remember. It does work in team games on allies, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's why?
Why you can heal your allies?
Why can you heal your allies in an AOE in feudal age? I mean,
You know,
I don't
social points.
like. I don't watch too many team games. My feeling is like French IU should be pretty damn good in 3v3s and 4v4s all the time.
Yeah. I mean, you do need ranged units at some point in time, right? And
Yeah, but you have them, the Desert Raiders.
yeah, they do supply that as well with the Deserators. I don't know, I feel like maybe it's just it's probably a decent matchup to go for in general.
Yeah, I feel like the last time I cast team games, it was like staple Iabids and French, like one of the two usually at least appeared on both sides. But look what's appearing in this game. Wow, you look at that, an 8-minute castle age timing for Roos. Now this
Crazy.
This has been nerfed.
Fast Castle Age? No way.
Yeah, but Krakeny, it's been nerfed. There's
Damn, so nerfed. Now it'll only generate 130 instead of 134 gold per minute. And we're getting reinforcement wing actually here from Anotand. So decides not to match the timing of the age up with the advancement wing.
I think this makes sense though, right? He's on a scale point, and this is pretty much the classic way that I think a lot of IBA players have been playing this Roos matchup. The interesting and underrated detail, by the way, is like, if you do start to build a bit of a lead, and your opponent hasn't been convinced that horse archers aren't working, you can build siege with these guys. And there's a certain very large tower that's kind of underrated when you're playing a mass pew-pew war.
Yeah, not just that, but also think about it like this. The spearmen, perfectly countered by the springles.
Yep.
Like just forward springles with the Desert Raiders.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Be kind of fun.
Players have been getting a lot better at that transition now. Just kind of remember, it's almost like the instincts and the memory, the muscle memory of like the Mongol meta, if you remember those good old days with Siege Engineering Improved, have come back. And they're like, oh, wow. Oh yeah, this is just as good to do as it used to be. Even better, in fact.
Monastery now coming in for VortiX. Anotand's still a good minute off his own age up now. This Raider has to be very, very careful here. Spearman, we do get the charge in. They're very, very quick.
Not quick enough, it seems. And reinforcements are on the way, so just start to poke away at him. This is where it gets a little bit annoying. We've all been there with a unit we can never actually catch. Like, yeah, I'll just keep going, because this idiot's eventually going to, like, forget to micro away, and then I'll get the last laugh. And all my units are dead.
Yeah. And also sending that one weak unit over to the Cambulance.
And they're already in
As the
position for
camel...
relics.
Yeah, they're ready. They just gotta wait for the signal now. Ooh. Has to be careful. The weak one needs to visit the Cambulance once again.
One point with the
I mean,
micro.
is it animation canceling? If it looks like animation canceling, but the developers assured us there is no more animation canceling in the game?
No, then it's just it's camel drifting. We're gonna call it camel drifting. That sounds like a reasonable mid ground. I think the whole animation canceling discussion's a tiresome one, right?
It is.
It's like
I mean,
you're
you can't really change anything about it.
Oh, that was sick.
Look at that nice micro.
Beautifully.
Individually targeting the weak ones. Very well done by VortiX. Kills 2 of these expensive Desert Raiders.
Man, but to the animation canceling point, like, the best way I've heard it described is you're asking a player to play worse. It is, like, I get the frustration with it, but we just need it fixed if it's really a problem still. If it's not, it's, like, seen as intended at this stage, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not up to the players necessarily to change it. It's just like at some points it starts becoming too obscene, right? And then it's just game breaking.
Oh, yes.
When that's like when you actually ask for players to be like, hey, maybe don't, right?
Yeah.
It is tough to like really implement, and
it's a subjective
it's just
element.
a situation that you never
Right.
Yeah.
Like that's what I hate about it is like back when we had it as a problem, because I think they did buff it out. Like that was the idea. What they nerfed it out was the idea to at least a certain degree. Is you kind of like have a situation where pause that for it doesn't move away, where it's not. It's gray, if you know what I mean, right? It's not yes, no. It's like you've got a percentage scaling of like, okay, like how quick clicking again and moving and skipping like is too quick, sort of thing.
Yeah. The issue as well is like, especially with when Ghazi Raiders were able to do it. It's like some units can, and some units can't, right? Like Horsemen were only like very minutely able to animation cancel, but Sipahi and Ghazi Raider were just on a whole nother level.
Like, I personally would rather just see it tweaked a bit more. I do think the Desert Raiders are still performing probably a bit better than they're meant to as a jack-of-all-trade unit that still has, like, a good focus point as an anti-cav unit. And speaking of the ultimate cav, we talked about this Camel Lancer timing. VortiX doesn't even have a front line. Like, the closest he has to a front line is a scout right now.
It's only cavalry archers at the moment, which lose two, almost 3 damage due to the Camelanese. It's kind of insane just how little damage they do. Yeah. At this point in time.
And also, we do have Undermesh coming in. So, like, VortiX's timing into Blacksmiths is kind of being mirrored out by Anotand. The pressure is mounting. He has got the rack switch up coming in here. But remember what we said about these Spearmen. They're not going to be the golden solution you'd hope against Lancers. Especially if you start trickling them out.
You need a very big mass of them, yeah. I mean, if you get a good enough mass of them, then, like, sure, you're able to swallow up the losses that you get while you're trying to connect with the army, but at this point in time, he just does not have the big army mass, and the food income is just completely shut down as well.
Yeah,
so much idle time.
And that's all the woodworkers, right? So this also stops you from getting extra horse archers out. This is ridiculous. And keep in mind, by the way, guys, this is a 5 relic Ibid game. He just hasn't built the mosque yet.
He's got all of them in, and VortiX realizes there is no way to come back from this one. I mean, we talked about, right? Like, the Ayubids in this one, they've had all the cards with the Desert Raiders, with the early Dervishes, getting all the relics in and making sure that the priority army composition from VortiX with the Rus just does not work.
That was so clean. Like, that was so well executed by Anotand. I'm trying to think, like, was there really any step done wrong in that game? Right? I think from start to finish, he executed almost perfectly. There was like that one moment where he got greedy with the 2 Desert Raiders, but that's more like VortiX, just good micro, right? But outside that, like, there's not really anything you can mark him down for in that execution of Ayubid versus Rus.
Yeah, 100%. One thing that I didn't understand was why he killed the deer on his opponent's side when deer shoving kind of not there anymore, but yeah.
True. Actually, maybe it's just like old habits die hard. But we don't really have to worry about them killing the deer here. Up next, we've got Archipelago.
Yeah. No deer shoving over here. Instead, it's going to be a lot of water aggression. We're on a good old water map. And Anotand, I know he considers himself to be the water goat. And he says, and I quote, "I took away Marino's crown. I am the best on water." That was not a one-to-one quote, but that's what he meant. And it's going to be interesting to see how exactly that's going to play out. Because VortiX, like the Spanish brothers in general, they are water connoisseurs at heart.
They are. The interesting thing is, like, I think for OTD, you're more on the clock here, right? Because if this gets into the hyper late game, we got to address the elephant in the room, but the elephant actually looks like a giant warship. Baochuans from Shushi are a little bit ridiculous. I think the only thing more ridiculous currently is Lancaster water with range.
What?
Yeah, because they get the
Lancaster water with...
Yeah, because they get Admiralty and they get the Carrack tech, which gives them 12 tower range.
Yeah, but it's also Lancaster on water.
If you can get there, it is kind of stupid, actually.
It's like you give a knife to a toddler. At first, like, oh my god, he's got a knife. Then it's like, that's a toddler. I can punt him.
Yeah, but then I guess the late game for Lancaster in that situation is like someone picked up the toddler with a knife and threw them at you. Now it is a
That's when it starts getting dangerous.
Like, whoa. Yeah. I may have chosen the wrong opponent here. But here we go, hopping in to see which opponent is now going to be able to take the lead. 1-1 apiece as we head in for a splash in a pond in the middle of summer. Anotand will be taking the field with the Shushi. VortiX in that tiny little screen, setting up his dock as Order of the Dragon.
It's a little bit of a sad dock, though. It isn't like followed up by any shoreline fish. So that villager, oh, look at that, the scout, he's bringing over a sheep.
Okay, that's cool.
Anotand, Anotand realized, oh yeah, I don't have any shoreline fish here. It's fine. I'm just gonna bring a sheep over. Nice one.
And by the way, reminder: this is the EGC Archipelago, which I know people have a mix.
It's very different.
Yeah, it's very different. I know people have a mixed feeling about water, but I was saying to, I think Caillou made this one as well. Like, dude, that guy makes so many maps. But I said to him, if there was any map, like if water was something that people wanted and they wanted competitively balanced, I think this is probably the best implementation I've seen in AoE 4.
I like the implementation when it comes to the not shallow water, like the algae forest that you get there.
Yeah. And the stealth forest.
I like to play around those.
Yeah, the stealth on water is cool. I think like he done a good job of not overkilling the deep water you have, because you remember Stand Archipelago, right? Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like, it's not just a lot, but like you're completely surrounded by water as well on that and the normal spawn. And then you have like it's also interesting, like an interesting dynamic between like going for back dock, going for forward dock. At least that's like I want to say like that's like kind of a difference maker that we had in AoE 2. I feel like in AoE 4 that doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, I think the more important thing here is just having the symmetrical design, so like no one gets a ridiculous edge. Because like, you know, we talk about the randomness of AoE 4's gen being really cool, and we like that quirky element. But we've talked about in the past how it can decide some matchups. I think water is like an egregious extreme when it's full focus water. I think that
it's also very snowbally.
Yes, like there's no arc for recovery really. I think the only thing that I might say I'd love to see changed about this is like, imagine if there's shallow water connecting all three of the central islands.
Yeah, sort of like a Bermuda Triangle, right?
Yeah. I think that's the only thing like I could say I'd improve of it. And you know, there's going to be people that will never love water. We just get it. But like in terms of what works for a pure water, this is the best form. Hybrid, probably Holy Island is still the best one to this day.
Yeah. I think, honestly, like, in order to make water a little bit more appealing, I don't like the current triangle of units that we got there. I think we need, like, another close-range ship in the game.
Okay, I'm going to spitball an idea out here. Like, I'm just very creative, and I come up with unique new ideas on the fly, Crackety. What if we had, like, a boat that has, like, a giant hammer on the front?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or what if we had, like, a ship that just spewed fire from its front?
Ooh, yeah. Or what if we just had, like, a turtle that is, like, bigger than a Blastoise?
What if we had, like, an armored turtle ship that shoots cannons?
And then, you know what? Like, and if they won't just get out of the game, and you reach Imp, University should have a tech called the Flying Dutchman.
We just get the Flying Dutchman in. Just a flying ship that's able to go on land and shoot cannons everywhere.
Yeah, and we can actually make it look legit. We can basically make it look like the Walker from... Do you remember the Wild Wild West? Where he's got, like, the giant, like, Walker with the spider legs? So just, out...
Yeah.
Just smashes out the side and crawls on land. We figured it out, man. They should hire us.
This is going to be the next DLC for Age of Mythology.
I better get a kickback, okay? Seen ideas like this. But seriously, there is some interesting like thoughts I've had. Like, if you want to completely revamp the system, I kind of dig the idea of you having to actually man the ships with units, right? So it's almost like land and sea matters. And instead of having lots of boats, you have like few with different perks, shall we say.
I think that kind of makes it too complicated. I just think that like the two ships that counter each other out shouldn't both be max range, right? Like a Springled and Archer ship. I don't think they should both be ranged. I think maybe the Springled ship or like a Springled ship equivalent should be a little bit like shorter range. What I'm saying is, I just want Age of Empires 2 ship meta.
Okay. You know what the funny thing is? I still remember being like at Red Bull, and
they also complain about it.
Yeah, no. Some of them thought we had the better ship system. Grass is
having played both. No, we don't.
Hey, what can I say, man? The sea is always bluer on the other side, you know.
That's true. That's true. Granted, they got a lot more egregious like differences with the civilizations. Like Vikings just straight up win most wedge ups on water as well. Italians as well. But anyways, that's not what the civilizations that we do have here. We do have the Zhuji's legacy up against the Order of the Dragon right now. Looks like Anotand does have a firm lead when it comes to the overall economy on water, but VortiX did get a quicker age up timing in, but wasn't actually able to achieve that much with it. We do have the correct response here from Anotand with the Springle chip immediately. So VortiX, is he gonna have to like reinvest a little bit like into water right now? Like just taking a look at the fishing ship count overall, I do believe that there's a good 3 to 4 ships more fishing ships on Anotand's side. We're on 11 fishing ships for Anotand, and VortiX is on
what, like 7? Oh, yeah, there you go.
7. Yeah,
it's just, I mean, it's sushi in a nutshell, right? They nerfed it a while back, but the production speed is quicker for them. So it does help out a pretty bit. And we have to also remember that Sushi are able to scale age quicker. So, you know, sometimes that's used for a timing attack, but that can also just be used to be more greedy, where you're like not going to fall behind because you build quicker, you build it cheaper. So just build more fishing boats.
a little bit of harassment now on the other side. VortiX isn't really going to force idle time, but is at least going to split Anotand's army apart a little bit. Just prodding right now in the like, as long as he is in Anotand's base, Anotand's not in his base.
And by base, we mean water, because nobody's going to touch each other's base this entire game.
Yeah, for now. You don't know. Like, some players might want to, like, lose water and stick it out for the next 30 minutes waiting for their opponent to make landfall.
Is it time to drop L's back on his main? No, idiot. Drop on his secondary.
We had those games. Don't be like, oh, that never happens. We had those games.
It's usually
we were
English that does that, in my experience.
Yeah. They're like, I got Admiralty. I can come back on water. Just you wait.
That's what I'm telling you. How's the Lancaster late game, baby? Admiralty, and you get the carrot range for 20%. They nerfed it. Like, did you see that nerf that they gave? They actually nerfed it, but they, like, I think they nerfed the wrong thing. They,
wouldn't surprise me.
they nerfed the range from 20% to 10%. But that's still 11 tile range. And then they nerfed the health slightly. This is ships to the crown. If anyone wants to cheese water, and you're like a Goldie, so you're probably like vibing until you're in Imperial, because I know you guys like your SimCity, Lancaster.
We're now getting a lot of demo ships in from VortiX. Anton only just now starting to make his, but Anton, he's only on a single archer ship, so right now, VortiX, he's got a very, very good timing here to just overrun Anotand. One archer ship is very easy to just dive and take out with your Springle ships, and then there's nothing keeping those Springle ships from getting sniped by VortiX's demo ships, and we do have them moving
coming
forward.
From behind. Does he see it in time?
They are running around.
What?
3 demo ships. Is he going to go for eco?
Yeah, no,
he might just go for eco instead.
He'll deny. Okay, so it's an equal exchange, but VortiX still has 4 in play, 3 about to enter. He clipped one of the Springles, and the archer ship overextended now, so heavy damage on that. VortiX, he's got additional demos coming. This is a classic pump timing, but ironically, it's the timing you expect out of the Taxman save. Sushi in China love doing this demo all in, but VortiX has beaten them to the punchline.
Yeah, the question is, how long can VortiX really keep this up? He just lost a lot of health on his own demo ship, so the timing isn't really quite there. And Anotand, like, looking at the economy, he's just got so much more fishing ships, like so many more fishing ships at the moment. It's not a big difference, but every resource he's got a little bit more of.
Wait,
and the fishing ship, the archer ship, catches the demo ships in the middle of the map.
He does pull them back. That's going to put a stopper on the timing here for VortiX, which I think can be a little bit awkward, right? Like, yeah, you didn't lose them. They survived. But you've given full warning to your opponent what you're doing. And you can already see the reaction. Anotand now going up to 3 archer ships.
Yeah, correct reaction here. And behind this Anotand, he's got a lot more Springle ships. So as long as he's able to keep those demo ships in check, and it's very easy to take them down quickly, just because, like, 2 point-blank archer shots, they're going to go down very quickly. As soon as those demos go down, like, Anotand's going to be in a prime position to take fights.
Another scary thing is just how good Sushi are at then bouncing up to the next stage off of a semi-decent fight even, right? Due to that discount from tanks. So VortiX, that's the other pressure lighting a fire underneath his ass here. He needs a good connect. He's about to go double-digit demo. He's trying to use that stealth C, but it's not really reaching deep enough to a point where it would be that useful.
Yeah, this is the allest of all-ins here at this point in time. VortiX, he's saying go ham or go home. He is heavily, heavily committing on the mass demo ship. Now, granted, like, even if he doesn't, like, completely destroy Anotand here, if he gets, like, 1 or 2 great shots in on the fishing ships with the demo ships, he could at least even out the economy. Look at how patient he is.
Ano's
in just splitting them up.
He's guarding.
Anotand sees this though.
Yeah, he's got an archer ship, I think, near the stealth sea. So he's seen come on the front side. It's a three-way commit. He's wrapping, but he's wrapping wider than I think Anotand realized. So there might be a panic that sets in from that extra demo that is creeping in. It's in the stealth border. Demo connections to deny here. Big hits coming through. It will be enough to stop VortiX from getting full in. He has to reset. Anotand was able to do enough damage on the defense to ruin VortiX's timing here.
And just all the arch ships now down. Look at that. Anotand immediately queues up 6 demo ships of his own now.
It's his turn, and he knows it. Chase is on. He's got 7 Springolds, and you've got VortiX with 5 archer ships here. No Springald fleet.
And 2 Springolds.
Oh my god. That was ridiculous.
It's just mass archers and demos. Only archers and demo ships now.
The Springolds. What?
Oh, we're getting connections in.
He's going to find it. He gets what he needs. He resets the field. VortiX reduces the count down to just 3 Springolds. It's a stable position, but it's still an eco elite to worry about. Where did
that come from?
Where are all of these coming from?
Demos, like everywhere. It's just a random demo here and there. We have Anotand with the market as well, just like trading out some of the economy here, but. Man, this is wild. This is wild. We're getting to the point now as well where the woodlands are starting to thin out. So soon we should have both players sending out a transport ship each onto the next island. But this is some crazy shenanigans going on here at the moment.
It's ridiculous. I feel like someone just entered the console and put in spawn random demos. What the hell is going on? So after that, who's the big breadwinner is what you got to ask. It feels like Anotand came out better. You can actually see it in Eco. It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, he's looking very, very strong right now. 13 economy unit advantage. And, I mean, the remassing is just so difficult at this point in time. These demo ships just, like, randomly popping up here and there. Just looking around, you know. Nothing much, just hanging around there. No, that's a fishing ship.
It also scouts out any sort of sneak to hide in the stealth water, which is pretty important. They're both just creeping around the center right now. Okay, so this is going to be a full wrap around the southwestern sacred site to try and smash. And he's got demos on both sides. This is about to be an explosive sandwich.
Archer ships doing their best, but they just can't shoot to the side, KP.
Maybe they should, I don't know, aim better?
Maybe. The fishing ships, they have to be so careful.
Oh, he's thinking about
ships.
It. VortiX?
He is thinking about it. He wants it.
He's like, which one do you want?
Oh, the villagers!
Good connect, he gets it!
He gets him! Great value found.
He's gonna, wait. He's gonna find 2 more. He's gonna find 2 more! Gets 1.
He gets 1.
VortiX, he's all in. This is it. 16 demos.
16 demo ships. This guy has no breaks.
We're not done.
This is insane.
It's 18. He's going to be old enough to buy a beer. This is ridiculous.
Oh, he gets a great connection, though.
He's wrapping in. He's skirting to the side. The archer ship spam. Is it going to be good enough? It looks like it. It's denying.
It's good enough.
Demo's on the north side. Now he just pivots to the south. And Anotand. He's the full Neo. The chosen one, but it's not going to be good enough. He loses the Springolds. VortiX has thrown away the entire fleet for this, though, and still remains behind Anotand.
VortiX lost all of his archer ships behind this, and Anotand now the one with demo ships. What is this game?
This is the wildest game I think I've seen of Archipelago. We need a demo count at the end of this game. We're only 50 minutes in. We've seen more demos so far between these two, and more attempts to end the game between these two than you'll see in a 30-minute water game.
This is so unhinged. These players are so unhinged on water in this one. But Anotand, honestly, I think, yeah, he's in such a great spot at the moment. He didn't take any economy losses. He didn't take any economy
didn't?
losses.
Are you sure?
He didn't.
Only 2.
Some.
That's acceptable.
Yeah, that's not worth it.
Yeah.
That's not worth it in terms of what you just threw away in demo ships. And VortiX, his economy is hurting. He's less than half the food income that Anotand has, and Anotand's about to age up. Charlotte Monastery
God.
coming in, and once that hits,
It's not
all the castle age upgrades.
it's
man.
not just that. Think about the ramifications of these 2 civs on wood. Shushi has 20% more than what Order of the Dragon does. VortiX has just basically done the same thing to that tree line that he does with his head every few weeks. It's been completely shaved off the map, so he needs to make a move to a new island, and he still hasn't aged up.
Anotand's just so on top as well with the archer ships here in their position, just to make sure it's not going to be any more of these cheeky wraparounds. And yeah, age up has come in. We're immediately seeing Sprinkled Cruise coming in as well. VortiX once again, one big mass, so many demo ships. He's like, nah.
This is
It didn't
right?
work the first time. It did work the second time. The third time also didn't work.
Anotand's baiting him in, though.
This is the one.
This is... Okay, he could go back around the other side here to intercept the next wave. VortiX really can't afford to slow roll this. Sprinkled Crews are coming in. He's actually got an aging demo in there. That's not VortiX's. He realizes it.
Just realize.
The mirror play. I mean, at what point do you just get the explosive tech, right? It has to be worth it, surely, Anotand.
This point in time, surely.
He's still got demos in the stealth water to the north. He's waiting. He's actually baiting him over here right now.
He's so patient with this. There we go. They're moving now. The archer ships. There's so many archer ships.
It's not gonna get in. The archers are able to protect. All demos sunk. What next? What have you got?
At the same time, Anotand gets a connection. There's no way out.
That's it. That's got to be done.
Nothing remaining.
He has been picked dry. VortiX, who is considered a micro master, has been outclassed by Anotand in this naval warfare.
And Gigi comes in. Anotand able to take the lead now in the set, 2-1 up against VortiX.
I mean, I don't care what anyone says about water. Like, you tell me, yeah, do you want to play that? No, I get it. Do you don't think that was entertaining? Sure, you can do, oh, it's linear. We have like 3 boats. Please, the demos, that is the most Michael Bay game you are going to see this entire tournament.
Oh man, the graphs, the military value read, it's having a heart attack, man. It's just going up and down between the two.
Oh, God.
Economy count, the only thing, though, that throughout this entire game always has been in the lead for Anotand.
Honestly, I think both of them, especially in this summer heat, are probably literally sweating at their keyboards right now after that game. That was ridiculous.
I mean, VortiX is in Spain. I'm not sure if they got ACs over there. Typically, it used to be, it's a dry heat. It doesn't hurt you. Recently in Europe, it's no longer a dry heat. There's water in the air and it hurts to. It wants to end you.
The problem,
the humidity.
The problem is with this type of heat, he's probably sitting there in like a tank top. Like we know, actually, VortiX usually is sitting there in like a tank top, right?
Yeah.
And I can't remember if he had a leather chair. So you can just imagine that moment where he goes to like get up and stretch,
and you just stick.
It's like hearing Velcro rip.
It is that way. Never get a leather chair. In summer, leather chair, imagine like being on a roof apartment or something like that, like in the top floor apartment. It's just the worst combination, and that's why, I've just firmly sworn never to get a leather chair again.
No, it's like, I mean, I need to fix these headphones because like they're the leather ones. I swear,
leather headphones,
like cloth. Cloth is the way, or you just do, the earphones. Oh, blimey! But entertaining game now leads into Demon Civ. VortiX, I mean, of course you're going to pull this one out when your back's up against the wall, right? Who is the man that we can always count on? He always comes through. The most reliable Brit in competitive AoE4. Lancaster.
Yeah. China, honestly, I don't think they're that great up against Lancaster because Yeoman, they just toy with them, right? Like it's a longbow on crack almost. And here we go. Game number 4. VortiX is the House of Lancaster in this one. Anotand as the Chinese, and this is Gorge. One of the, at this point in time, staple maps in Age of Empires 4. It's just such a nice map. It didn't, like, we didn't start with Gorge, but once it came in, I think a lot of players should start being like, yeah, this is nice. More of this, please.
My experience with Gorge has been like a heartbeat monitor, right? When I first saw it in Red Bull, I was like, this is the best thing to happen in the game. And it took so long to get added to the game. It's criminal. Then it got added. I'm on top of Cloud9. Then we got to the figured out stage. You know what I'm talking about? Where everyone just walled it. And it was the most boring crap because it was every game. Ever since Season 9's changes to walls and how much harder it is to do, I think Gorge has returned to be an absolute pinnacle in competitive Age of Empires 4. Now, on this opening, we have got Lancaster still doing what they always done. Some people thought that this would stop because deer shoving is no longer viable, but Lancaster apparently just gets too much value out of spear spam to not do it.
Also, take note, we do have the no IO opening here from Anotand, so these villagers actually getting shoved off the gold here at this point in time means that, oh my god, he's getting the demon spawn where the TC is in range of the gold.
Come on.
For VortiX.
Oh, that's so frustrating. I mean, and do you pull a villager? Like, it's the only way this is going to feel really valuable now, right?
I mean,
sweet spot?
Honestly, I don't think it, he's finding something. Yeah, but it's not good enough. The age up is gonna not. Yeah, he can't deny the age up, and it looks like he also can't deny the. Anotand, he needs a little bit more gold for at least one Imperial official.
He does. Is that you guys need to stop bringing pennies? We need big coins here. So he's still a little bit shy. He needs 235 to be safe.
He needs one more gold.
Wait, but is it decimal? No, it wouldn't be. Like this weird situation where sometimes you get decimal, but
oh, he's got it! That's gonna be no way! What? That's crazy. Wait, he doesn't know that he's got it though.
Wait, I think maybe he's being saved.
He wants to make sure.
So, like, if it's decimal, remember the important thing to remember this UI on the back end. You've got float points, which can be decimal point, but on the front end, it has to be flat numbers. There's no decimals, which is why sometimes, like for example, you'll see a unit with 0 HP is still alive.
Yeah. You know, I'm not sure why we just don't round the numbers, like, in the back end as well, but hey.
You say that until you, like, you're going to be the guy that says that, they'll fix it, and then you'll complain about a game that you lost because you were, like, you know, you were scammed out of your 0.3 gold.
Honestly, people who complain about that, I think there's other things to complain about. I should have won that one. My unit was supposed to have 0.0001 health remaining in that engagement.
Yep, no, I've heard that one before.
I did the math.
I guess, like, because I think the way it gets weird with that is, like, scout healing isn't, I don't think it's flat. I think it's, like, maybe scaling, so 0.1, 0.1 maybe. I mean, that's the only way it would make sense why so often scouts can exist on 0 HP.
Yeah.
Either that or the witches.
I mean, they're always regenerating as well, right? Like,
that's what I mean. Instead of being, like, 1 health, it's, like, 0.1 or, like, 0.2 or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, maths. What is it with RTS gamers and maths?
What is it with engines and math? Just be simple.
Why can't games just magically work? Okay, so deer shoving might not be a thing anymore, but anti-deer shoving.
Deer laboring. Can we take a look at that? Like, how effective? Like, how effective is it for him to, like, try and lame these deer? Right? Like, look at them. Like, they're just not react. Wait, are they actually? Wait, are they reacting a little bit earlier than?
Like, it's no. Watch. Like, okay, so you just no, don't. Oh, VortiX, we're running an experiment, man. He doesn't even let them run away.
They just take a while. I think they said in between 8 to 20 seconds it takes for them now to react, and it used to be like in between 1 and 8 seconds.
Yes, it's like ridiculous. On average, it's like 2 times longer, but it can be even higher if you're unlucky.
Yeah.
So pretty brutal. And Lancaster Castle is still Lancaster Castle, so golf clappers all around. Suckers, you thought Lancaster was nerfed? XD.
We're getting Anotand now with the follow-up, just mass archers at Chinese. This is typically something that used to be quite often the, like, case that you used to, like, if English opened with geez, what's the landmark again? Like the Longbow landmark.
Council. There you go.
The council, yeah. I'm just not even seeing English anymore.
I
don't remember the landmarks.
They're English, and you know it's bad when you can't remember that landmark, you know? Like,
they're just not getting played anymore. The last time I've seen English, I don't know. I don't know the last time I've seen English. Not just on, like, on high elo ladder, they disappeared.
I mean, I can tell you.
On low elo ladder, they're still there, but on high elo ladder, there's just no English. They just don't exist anymore up there.
Like, I can tell you haven't seen English by the way you said Civ earlier.
But this play from Anotand here with the very fast just archer pump, it's typically what you use up against the English.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely would make a lot of sense. Like, I think English is like potentially a very good counter into Lancaster, but like you said, like they're just in a weak period. I think once they could like maybe get another small buff, or if the meta shifts a bit again, like you'll see them as a decent answer. Like in theory, the longbow all-in timing does just shut everything down here, right? Like the mana's.
I've had a very interesting game against Demu where I just randomly sent 5 villagers to the middle of the map and just put council hall right in front of his base.
and
I almost won. I almost won that. I whiffed it and I lost 30 minutes later.
Oh, the problem there is you chose to go into the late game against Dimmu. That is, like, at that point...
He was dead as fuck. I killed 30 of you. No.
Only 30 against Lancaster? Those are rookie numbers. You're going to have to go higher if you want to win the game.
I had 5... Yeah, because you stole 2 of my relics at the end.
I like how we're meant to
lies here.
We're here to cast an S-tier tournament, and Krakeny's just warring with Doom. The problem you have to keep in mind with Demu is I've noticed this. The moment you get past 25 minutes... Oh, pause that thought. We've got Demi-Lancers. The Demi-Lancers...
Look at Demi-Lancers here.
They've come to ruin you
It's not as many.
And they have less health now. They actually have, I think it's 10 less health. Apparently making
and only
a difference.
2 armor. Yeah, Anotand's like, you're not a real unit. You don't exist.
Krakeny, if you had that fight against Demu now with the nerfs, you would have won that game. I just want to tilt you more.
Nah.
But no, I was going to say, the funny thing with Demu that I've noticed, like, the moment that past 25 minutes hits, it's almost like there's something ticks in his brain, and he's like, well, this is going to be a fun game. Right? Sometimes I swear, like, I would call that, I swear sometimes Dewey just, like, pulls the game longer for the content.
He does. He just starts trolling for no reason at some point.
He's like, oh, this will be great for the stream on YouTube. Man of many talents. So, here we go. Manas have been nerfed a little bit on the HP. They're not as tanky, but I don't think the numbers changed anything, because it's minus 100 health, and Rams deal in increments of 200.
At the moment, Anotand has the Pierce damage upgrade, and there's no Pierce armor upgrade yet for VortiX. It is coming in, however, so at least for the time being, I mean, the Demi-Lancers are going to be completely taken out at this point in time, and we have the Horseman follow-up behind this from Anotand.
The amount of villages he pulled to repair that is ridiculous.
That's an overcommitment, to say the least. Demi-Lance is still working, though. But there's enough archers now.
Like, so he's semi-clown carrying him, right? Like, it's not effective anymore. Finally, the villager pull comes in. But VortiX is building a worker lead. Not a crazy one yet. But he has made Lancaster do something weird here. They don't seem like a civ that likes having to scale Yeoman. Has been that case for a while. Not in Feudal anyway.
It's just so expensive, right? And Anotand, he's just still flooding out a lot of units. At this point in time, though, VortiX is starting to pull ahead in the economy, not just... not economy, but like military count. And we're seeing a pro scout follow up now from Anotand. Okay, this is wild.
He loves this. Yeah, no, I've seen Anotand do this a lot. Like, this is what I was talking about earlier in that China series against like Shushi. He's the type of player that do it. Anotand is probably the best executor of this archer opening build I've seen. And he does it so frequently. Like, at first I thought it was shock and awe value, but it seems to just be working consistently. The question mark now is, does VortiX realize it? And can he now counterplay it with his ball of Yeoman?
I mean, Yeoman do feel great at the end of the day still, right? Like, they have just that bonus mobility that helps him out so much. But Anotand, now with the Horseman as well, he's got a very nice army composition up against what VortiX has. It's just that still, Yeoman, if you get to that one big army mass, it is so difficult to take them down.
Yeah,
it's like we're getting more manners as well.
The difficulty is getting to that scale you're talking about, though, right? Like, that nerf... 5 extra resources doesn't sound like a lot. It is. It was already a premium cost unit. And, like, you know, we can talk about castle you want. Yeah, they're great. I think, like, that's the most common time is, like, you go castle age, you get the mass levy, and you're into yeoman. But feudal age... Ishii caramba. It's on such a small eco. It slows down so much of your game. And also, like, it's kind of a similar thing to longbow. Like, yes, you're a lot quicker than longbows, but you still have that same idea of, like, oh, this was very expensive now, and I kind of don't want to leave my base.
Yeah,
I want to go in
an issue. I think VortiX wants to go out in stone again. He's adding in his 4th mana now, but 4 is such an odd count where you're able to go up to 6, right?
Yep. I mean, that is. We've been over this before on the stream about our like of bigger numbers. You know, why go 15 arches when you can go 23?
Looks like the market. Yeah, okay. He uses the market to get the stone instead.
Ah, okay, that's interesting. I haven't really seen many Lancaster players do that, but
That's a play that you can do with Ottomans as well, for example, when you go for a Sultanate trade network, and you just use that to get stone for your military schools as well.
VortiX is skipping villager production, no? The math doesn't add up.
It feels like it, yeah. Right, like 4, and then another 4.
And then the
Actually,
fourth
no. I think he just had a little bit of idle time on the TC. Like 4 villages down and 4 villages from the Imperial official, like Imperial Academy.
Maybe he has textiles. I wouldn't have been surprised after that weird villager pull. Like I did feel like they were taking a little damage. Yeah, there you go.
He's got textiles. That's the difference.
I think he had it when that dive came in with the ram, because do you notice the amount of archers there were? And I was like, that health bar's not really moving. Speaking of rams, Anotand was getting frisky again, but the yeomen have come out to play. It is mainly on the yeomen. There's only 4 spearmen in total, but similarly, there's barely any horsemen. He's going to dive in all the same. And there are both Undermesh plus the ranged increase on both sides. VortiX should be able to start a step away from this, but the impressive part
castle age follow-up.
Yeah, exactly. Anotand is going up while mounting pressure and mounting a military lead.
Yeah, this is quite big now. Behind this VortiX, I mean, he does have 5 manners, potentially up to 6 very soon, but still very far away from his own age up. Multiple stables now getting follow-up. There's just going to be a Knight Lancer timing coming in.
I mean, you've got Pro Scouts with 28 deer, right? Like, VortiX isn't likely to come out and deny you on this when it's yeomen. Like we said, they're fragile and they're very expensive. Like, it's not something you want to risk. We saw what happened when he just came out of the base, right? That wasn't the trade you were expecting to see for the yeomen. And now it's just going to be worse. Veterancy for archers coming in. The first lancers, like you mentioned, are queued. VortiX, he might actually just be forced into a white tower here.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, the White Tower isn't the bad landmark to go for, right? Just because, like, Earl Scout, like, getting 3 Earl Scouts is very nice, and just being able to stabilize after massing a good amount of manners.
Still,
it's still a rough one.
Yeah,
like and the option is, like, where are you going to place it as well, right? Like, where do you have access to, like, place it?
Because you kind of want to place it here.
Spots.
It's weird, and that's so far away from your TC at that stage. Archer's now going to start diving under. He has saved up, and Undermesh 2 is there. Anotand is very tanky. The Lancers are about to reach the base as well, and VortiX, this could be it. White Tower's coming through, but he's going to be seen doing it. Full garrison inside the TC to try and protect himself. At this stage, I mean, the Vet Archers should be able to do enough damage to clear the way. Short bows come out. VortiX, I don't think he realized that the Lancers are about to hit the base.
The Lancer timing, yeah. It's coming in. There it is. The first Lancer just about to arrive. And I feel like that White Tower might not even be going up now.
I mean, it's going to be tight. He needs to get more workers on this to feel safe. And there you go. He pulls. He doubles down on this. The Lancers will find kills. But VortiX should be able to make his way up into castle. The price in blood, however, should prove high. I mean, he hasn't lost an insane amount of eco, but it's just that Anotand continues to scale because the loss in eco came indirectly through, once again, that idle TC. Look at the lack of a bar.
Yeah, it's just not producing right now. And man, it is very tough when at this point in time, sure, you got 6 manners, but is it worth the amount of like village difference at this point in time? Especially since your opponent also has Pro Scout.
And, you know, before I was like, oh, yeah, but, like, it's 6 manners. Yeah, but China gets a 20% flat increase on basically everything at this stage, right?
Yeah.
And also, guess what?
Taxes.
Yeah, taxes. And how about some tithes? You know, I really do think that people would come across from all the lands to look at shiny baubles. So does Anotand. He's rushing into the monks because VortiX, after what just happened, he ain't coming out of that base anytime soon.
Yeah, and that's a good amount of lances now as well, able to very easily dive past the Lancaster Castle, right? Because Lancaster Castle, for good or worse, you just can't garrison, and it just doesn't really do a lot of damage. More Lancer raids coming in yet again. Villagers this time around not getting pulled.
I will club one down.
More villagers dying.
And the spinmen are starting to come through here from VortiX, which just makes sense. He needs it. But Anotand's going to be gunning for archers again, even adding crossbows. So he's a little bit paranoid that VortiX might try the Earlsguard strat here. Honestly, I don't think VortiX can actually afford to go mass Earlsguard, right? It's the type of strategy that requires a bit of snowball, and your opponent already has double-digit Lancer.
Yeah. And Anotand, yeah, he's just straight up going for trebuchets now. He knows he's got the better military. Now it's just all about taking down the infrastructure. He can win any fight. Just take down the infrastructure next.
I mean, he can pretty much just A-click in if he wanted to and take out another 10 workers. But yeah, the calculated approach I do like. He could even just use these archers to build additional rams. It's just the harass. The yeoman. I mean, you need to be careful, actually. Them spawning here could be a huge negative with this many lancers in the area.
Lancers are going to run away now. It's definitely needed, like getting these yeomen in now. Like, VortiX needs a big mass of units. But he also needs either spearmen or crossbows, just something up against the lancers, because they're truly just Anotand's bread and butter now for the next fight. It's such a big count, and the yeoman just... Having even yeoman count to lancers just doesn't feel good.
No, it's interesting, like Anotand, I mean, he could have potentially won Nesta Bees, but obviously it would have been a long walk. So I like that he's just stuck to bio units to move fast. The ram is going to slowly make his way around. It's almost like a warning flag of what's to come. Lancers have started to reach one of the Yos. And archers are going to get stuck dealing with the Earlsguard, but that's going to be like all your frontline dead. He's just solely relying on yeomen to try and defend his base.
There's no +2 pierce damage, though. They take forever to take these lancers down.
And the lancers, look what he does, the micro. Anotand.
He's just going on the villagers.
He goes everywhere. He's like, what the hell am I doing wasting time on these guys? They can kite me. Chases the workers and chases VortiX out. Sticks him down in the elimination bracket. And that means that Anotand has made it through to playoffs.
GG, well played. Anotand looking fierce with the Chinese here in this one. Man, that was very well played. The execution just top notch with the archer play into the delayed pro scouts. Man, that was a really, really cool China strategy there.
I love it. I've lost count the amount of times Anotand's been doing this. Like, it's his bread and butter. And he's so good at it. Like, I think genuinely, like I've been saying recently, I think it's his signature civ. And I think he's by far one of the most scary players on China right now because of this particular build and how polarizing, I guess it is, right? Like, you just think China, you think pro scouts in this type of matchup. But he always resists it. He earns it. And that I respect.
Yeah, especially like against lower civilizations, which don't immediately go for the aggression, right? Like, this just pays off so much because not only do you like put up pressure on your opponent, but then behind that, you just get yourself ahead. And yeah, I mean, you could in theory try to commit even more with the archers, but chances are eventually you're going to have to transition into something else, and you might find yourself in a point where maybe you run out of a resource. But not Anotand. He just goes for the pro scout play behind it, just does enough in order to keep his opponent wary, keep his opponent in his base. Maybe it'll just like cause a little bit of damage here and there as well. And we do see like villagers getting picked apart here a little bit, and just so much commitment, so much idle time being forced there on the economy. Meanwhile, Anotand behind all of this, just being able to research pro scouts, start going for those deer, bide his time a little bit, and at this point in time still has a very, very solid mass out on the map.
Oh god, and stick a fork in my eyeball and call me done. Beastie versus Poppy Paw up next. I'm hoping. Did the WAM series take long in the end? I mean, I think Poppy Paw is a bit more of an aggressive player, so I think that series actually could kind of align with the speed at which we saw VortiX and Anotand played. So, you know, might end up being a little bit of a quicker day than maybe anticipated here. Especially off that first series, the opening one we had. I'm not gonna lie, Crackety, I expected us to be here for 11 hours.
This is gonna be one of two things: either very fast or very slow set.
Please, no, just.
I don't think it's gonna be an in between.
It's gonna be.
Yeah, it's gonna be very quick. It's gonna be very quick. Yeah, Beastie is the fastest player in the game.
Aggro. Yeah, he said he's like.
Have you seen Beastie up against Wham? Like the first game I heard only took like 10 minutes, give or take a 0.
Yeah, like, you know, like the first game took about. I think it was 40. The time it would take you to microwave 40 tins of baked beans, one by one.
Very special talent, being able to make minute rice in 50 seconds.
I mean, we'll have to see. Hopefully, it's a banger either way. But you know what? We've got to talk to the champion of this series. We've got Anotand on the line for an interview. Anotand, congrats, mate, on a bloody impressive series. 3-1 over VortiX. We got to talk about the Archipelago game. I can't think of anywhere else that makes sense to begin, because that to me was, I feel like, the weirdest, wildest, and funnest game of Archipelago I think we've ever seen.
I feel like it was even game, and I was just lucky. It mind blowing that like OTD and how VortiX played it was really even, but Juicy was like my second pick. And like to be honest, yeah, I was just lucky. It was like who first will blow up with demos, and like yeah, it was wild and a lot of micro, but turns out I was more lucky in this game.
How did you feel about this series overall and like the trajectory, right? Because like that opening game felt a bit brutal, right? Like VortiX very aggressive out the gate as you'd expect, but caught you off guard with his free worker kills. Felt like after that game was out of the way, everything was smooth sailing. Like I said that Ibid execution was one of the cleanest you've had. Like I think one of the cleanest we've seen altogether. Do you feel that this was like mostly skill, or are you attributing this win to a mixture of luck and drafting?
I forgot I'm playing Byzantine. I forgot build Cistern, and then I forgot to press Cistern ability.
The
like,
Akratoy, yeah.
Okay, I have barrack, I have house. Like, what do I need as well? Like I built Cistern only like at 2-minute mark, I think. And then yeah, I forgot to get armor for my wheels, and then I just my brain just turned off after first fight.
I wanted to pick your brain about the previous series as well, actually. Like, Dimmu, I was saying going into this, it felt like his was the most interesting story. I think a lot of the other results we kind of expected. Were you kind of shocked at how well Dimmu was playing in this tournament?
Yeah, like, Demo feels really good. Like, he outdrafted me and he killed my China with Mongols. I was so annoyed, and I wanted to write a few rude words to him. Like, you know, I'm down to 1-2 in series, and I have to play Ayubit Delhi as Ayubit.
You know,
it was really scary.
You could just like all chat type him everywhere. We just literally had Crackety arguing with Dimmu in the middle of the cast. So one thing that I find interesting is like we just had Season 11 drop in the middle of the tournament. How have you been adjusting to it? Like, have you noticed huge changes in the way you're approaching a lot of matchups, or has it been surprisingly no major changes to your practice from before?
Mary Lord was saying Japanese is dead. Like, he was, oh no more barrack, Japanese is dead. But in practice, I just killed him like 5 times in a row with Japanese. And you know, like every time when he loses, he just typing in some chats, like in EGC chat or other one, and just trying to convince people to nerf some stuff, you know? Like, when he's losing, it's not his fault. It's fault of game, of devs, and of EGC, you know?
Or he didn't get the spawn that he wanted. Yeah. In his interview, he did say that you played really well in the scrims, but the underhanded comment was that it wasn't necessarily fully translating into the officials. Any comeback for that?
But I mean, I lost only one series to Papi Paul. Like, yeah, it was one-sided, but it's best of 3. Like, he don't have facts to make this assumption. He not really right about it.
Oh, I mean, you might get an opportunity to prove him right, because you have made it through to the playoffs. I think you are avoiding him at the beginning, but it might be that you're facing him either semis or maybe clear all the way. Who's your biggest threat? Like, final question, who's the biggest threat you think to your player style, to you, that you preferably like someone else to maybe take out?
I think B or CSO. Like, I'm just scared of CSO. He just owning me every series. So at practice, when we playing, I killing him 5-0, but when we play in tournament, he just destroyed me like every game. About B, we just playing a lot of together, so I don't want like to face him as well.
I mean,
besides
it's a good
that,
thing.
I'm ready to play versus everyone.
That's what I love to hear. And you'll also maybe then be happy that they're facing off in the knockout bracket, so one of the threats will be removed. But Anno, we've got to keep the show going. We've got Beastie versus Papi Paul coming up. Predictions, who do you think's taking that?
I think Papi slightly favorite. But it's a game, it's AOFO, and it depends on the draft.
Okay. You started off flexing, and then you took the diplomatic answer. I respect that. Anno, I'm going to let you get some rest. Congrats on the win, mate, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you again.